Ground beef is the easiest and my favorite food to meal prep. Now just break the ground beef up, which should be fully defrosted, into small pieces. They don't have to be incredibly small, as you'll also break it up as you're cooking it on the stove, but we do want to break it up a little bit so we can evenly spread out the seasoning. Now that our ground beef is broken up, we're going to add the layer of seasonings. I start off with salt, pepper, garlic, and then one other typically flavored seasoning. For the flavored seasoning, today I'm using this Cajun powder. I would go to the store, into the spices, seasoning aisle, and pick a few out that you like. That way you can switch up the flavors every week and you don't have to use the exact same seasoning every single time. I'm also gonna add some onion in this. I like to occasionally, just to switch things up, make it a little more flavorful, I'll add some chopped up onions, maybe even sometimes some mushrooms or cut up peppers. Those are three vegetables that really help add a little bit of flavor and make it a little bit different. If you're gonna make more beef than this, like this is about 2 pounds, so if I was gonna do 4 pounds, I would do it exactly like this. Then I would layer in that second 2 pounds of ground beef on top, season that again as well, and then that way the seasoning is a little bit more evenly spread out. But now we're gonna put the lid on this and put it on the stove. As we put this on the stove, we're gonna wanna set this to about a medium flame, and then we're just gonna let it sit there, and about every 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to stir it. So we'll get that in a second. Now all we wanna do is stir our ground beef about every 3 to 5 minutes, just to mix up the seasoning a little bit and help it cook a little bit more evenly. I'd say stir it for 30 to 40 seconds before putting the lid back on for maybe another 3 minutes, and then checking again to stir it again. Notice the difference in coloration here, as the more dark brown beef is finished and the pink, still kind of fleshy beef, that still needs to be cooking longer. So we want to make sure that we just stir this, put the lid back on, do that a few times until all the beef is that darker coloration. Now we're going to check our beef one more time, stir it around. As you can see, the coloration is pretty much complete. I don't see any pink pieces in here. So I'm just gonna stir this around. There's a little bit here, but I'm just gonna stir this around for about 30 seconds. And then I'll put the lid back on, leave it on the flame for about another minute, and then just shut the flame off, leave it sit there for 5 minutes or so, and it should be ready to go. Now we're just gonna take our beef and put it into its final container. We're gonna leave it sit for about 20 minutes, cool off before we put it into the refrigerator. I personally like to keep kind of the juice and fat for this. The beef I use is really lean anyway, so it does add a nice little flavor, but you can also drain some of that out if you would like. A bonus tip is make sure to put it in a container that's more flat instead of vertical like this, because if you put it in one like this, all the fat is going to sink to the bottom, and then the last day you're gonna basically have no meat and only fat in there. So just kind of a pro tip. But if you have any other questions about this specifically, or anything else to meal prep or nutrition videos in general, please leave me a comment and I'll get to them as soon as I can.